Kirk Cousins gets his top ranking of his career in the NFL's top 100. We'll talk about his spot right after this. But first off, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you enjoy what you see here, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we're going to be posting here as we get closer to the regular season. Let's get into the video. How's it going, Vikings fans? We are flying solo today as Jamie is in the process of moving over to Massachusetts, but we still got to pump out some content when some things come out. And I was wondering, as soon as this NFL Top 100 list started going on for 2023, if/when Kirk Cousins was going to end up on the list. And today we finally got our answer. Kirk Cousins checks in at number 42 on the 2023 NFL Top 100 ranking. So I guess the biggest thing you got to look at here with Kirk Cousins in this spot is this one. I feel like he's finally starting to get some of the respect he deserves. I know people talk about after the quarterback series, but I mean, I don't know how far back these rankings go, especially since the quarterback series was relatively new. So I don't know if any of that had to factor into this, but I think the big part of it is the Kirk Cousins NFL league record this year for comebacks with 8 in one single season. Led this team through a lot of tough spots. Came in clutch when we needed him to. You could honestly say the stats wasn't the best stats of his career, but Kirk Cousins definitely this season was the best iteration of Kirk Cousins we've seen, especially if you want to talk about on the Minnesota Vikings team, leading the team to a 13-4 record, his first division title since getting to Minnesota. It's fantastic. Now, we still haven't seen the national media respect for Kirk Cousins that we think he deserves. But I would rather get more praise and admiration from my peers as opposed to from the national media, because the national media, as we all know, they just run with whatever story is hot. They have these thoughts that they just go off whatever's popular. It's just nice to see that Kirk Cousins is getting respect from the people he plays the game against and with. You wonder maybe after this now, maybe the national media will start to see it the right way. We don't know 100% for sure. I mean, obviously, yes, we all know the stats have always looked good for Kirk. He's got to win some playoff games, got to get us to a Super Bowl, and if he could do that, it would definitely bring him to the next tier. But one of the other cool things is after the quarterback series did air, he sat down with Marcus Mariota and Patrick Mahomes for an interview. And when asked about the most underrated quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes did point to Kirk Cousins and say, I think this guy is. He does it every single year. He's got the stats to back it up. And yeah, so it's really cool to see that and to see a spot on this list. We'll look at a few things from the rankings here. What I wanted to look at first was his rankings compared to some of the other quarterbacks in the NFL. So looking at it here, Kirk Cousins did come in at number 42, which so far obviously was the top quarterback on the list. If we look who's beneath him, Aaron Rodgers. I know on our live stream with Dave, there were some people that questioned me putting Kirk Cousins above Aaron Rodgers, but obviously, hey, look, the peers see it the same way. Dak Prescott at 56. He's ahead of Jared Goff, who's at 66. He's ahead of Lamar Jackson at 72, who I would rather have Kirk Cousins on the Vikings than Lamar Jackson. I've said that multiple times. I think Lamar Jackson is more talented due to his running prowess with the ball, but when it comes to just pure quarterback play, I would take Kirk Cousins. He's ahead of Geno Smith, ahead of Tua, ahead of Justin Fields, and then ahead of Trevor Lawrence as well, which I guess if you do want to say the thing about being respected by his peers, you also do got to question how Justin Fields makes it up to 86, especially ahead of Trevor Lawrence. I know when this first came out, there's a lot of questions about it. And I still have those same exact questions. So, and then I did want to toss Cam Jordan on there. It was about a month ago when he was talking to his teammates and he said, we like slow, good decisions. We call him Kirk Cousins. Well, there you go, Cam. Kirk Cousins is ahead of you on the NFL Top 100 list. So eat that. But anyway, Kirk Cousins, man, it is nice to see him finally getting some a little bit of respect here. So let's go take a look over his career at where he's ranked on the top 100. Obviously, this last year, as I said, it's his top ranking so far at number 42. Back last year in 2022, barely made the list at 99. The 2020 season was not great for him. I believe he started off slow. He picked it up in the second half, but overall, so he did not get a ranking for that 2021 or 2020 season. In 2020, he was ranked number 58. 2019 at number 78. 94, which was the last ranking he had with Washington, was 94. 2017, he was 70. And then again in 2016, he was number 85. So you start to look at some of the other quarterbacks that Kirk Cousins could potentially rank behind here. I mean, obviously, there's a lot that were named, but a lot that weren't. Just kind of going down the list, I'm sure he's going to be behind. But Which one of these guys would you put him ahead of if we go down the list here? I mean, if I don't know if Matthew Stafford made it. Because if Matthew Stafford made it, I would definitely be putting Kirk Cousins ahead of Matthew Stafford. I've said that as well. But ahead of him, you're going to have Patrick Mahomes, of course, Joe Burrow, of course. Those guys, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, those guys are probably going to be top 10 on this list, on the top 100 list. Jalen Hurts could be up there as well. And I'm sure I'm missing a couple others. But overall, like if you ask me guys that are ahead of him, I think those are the 5 you're probably going to see. As I said, if Matthew Stafford's there, I don't think I 100% agree with that. But anyway, Kirk Cousins finally starting to get a little bit of respect. And as I said earlier on, if I'm going to get respect from anybody, I do want it to be the people that I'm playing the game against and with, as opposed to some people who their job is to talk about stories. And Kirk Cousins, as we saw, he's not the most vibrant, like flashy guy, right? He's not Patrick Mahomes yelling all the time on the field, right? Like Patrick Mahomes, as we saw in the quarterback documentary, this is what I do. You know, he gets loud, he yells. He's very, very outspoken and motivational, loves to talk. Kirk Cousins is that guy, right? He's not a runner. He's not young like some of these other upstart quarterbacks are. But if you want to talk about the definition of consistency, Kirk Cousins is that. And also with that consistency, you have a guy that is just tough. In the quarterback documentary, we also saw that. Taking just all the hits that he took, man, those were just absolutely ridiculous hits. And the guy, he gets up every time and he just keeps going. And that's where I think a lot of it comes from too. Even before the quarterback documentary, people knew our offensive line wasn't the greatest. And some of the other players that play the game, some of the shots they saw him take, and some of the guys who probably even laid the shots on him, they get it. They get this guy is the definition of toughness as well as consistency. Now he's just got to add a few more wins on top of things. And hell, one more good season like he had this last year under the second season of Kevin O'Connell, maybe a couple playoff wins. 42 might be the second highest rank that Kirk Cousins has reached. I think sky's the limit for the guy. If he could come out and just have improve upon last season in this offense, man, we could be looking at a much different Kirk Cousins, and a Kirk Cousins that could potentially end up making a ton of money as well. So anyway, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Kirk Cousins, where he ranks in the top 100. Drop your thoughts. If he's too low, if he's too high, I don't know if you have that thought. Drop those down in the comment section. Let me and Jamie know what you're thinking about that. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time on the GG Sports Podcast. Skol Vikings.